iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Betsy, Carolee, Danny, and Lauren, thank you so much for joining iHeartRadio Broadway today.
Woo! Yes.
Great to be here.
So we're here to talk about Estella Scrooge, which you all filmed last year during the pandemic, and here it is back again, streaming on streamingmusicals.com and Broadway On Demand. Also, the cast album is available. So Betsy, I'm going to start with you. For anybody that doesn't know what Estella Scrooge is, how would you describe this musical film to someone?
I'm going to steal the words that they use so brilliantly, which is it's a Christmas carol that we think we all know, but with a little bit of a twist, some modernization. And yeah, I like the twist.
And when you got the offer last year during the pandemic to do this film, what was your first thought when you got the script?
I got the offer and genuinely, I thought they were all totally bonkers. The idea of filming one actor at a time, it just, as an actor, felt crazy. I thought, my immediate concern was like, how am I going to do this? But I had never worked with John Caird before, and obviously a huge admirer of his work. And so I knew that if he was involved and if he had the faith to put something like this together and hire the people that he hired, which clearly we're here with them today, I just was like, I'm in. Let's figure it out. I don't know it. Let's jump off the cliff together.
And Danny, you play one of the spirits of the Christmas Carol, but you're Ebenezer Scrooge. Right. When you got the script, you got the tech rehearsal. I was doing a little bit of research and I heard that you did all of your filming in one day. And I'm curious, the kind of pressure to do everything in one day for this type of project. What was that like for you?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say how pissed I am that Betsy just got an offer. I had to audition 7 times for this role. We all got offers.
I was going to say, should we turn this into a therapy?
Can you imagine if they made Danny Burstein have 6 callbacks?
It was grueling.
You and Joel. Yeah.
I was going to say
Joel Gray almost got it. Yeah.
Joel, I was just going to say.
We can turn this into a therapy session if you want. 100%.
It already is, darling.
Yeah.
When I got the offer, I thought, okay, there are 10 pages that we have to do. And I thought it would be spread out over the course of a week or so. When you're doing a film, if you do 3 pages, that's really great. That's a good day. 4 pages is a miracle. But 10 pages, is a little over 10 pages in one day.
And it's a musical.
Impossible. Yeah. It's
throw the music in. You're right.
So I thought, surely they've made a mistake. But somehow it was
calling you Shirley. Yeah,
exactly. Somehow it's about. I know I set you up. Somehow it's about. I don't know, a 14-hour day or something like that, and we made it happen. It was just sort of a miracle. Our director John Caird and our choreographer and other people and Paul Gordon were there on little screens, directing us, giving us hints. As you're basically alone in the room with the cinematographer, who was also the sound guy, who was also decorating the set, and it was
every other actor.
Yeah, he was, and being every other actor, it was an impossible situation that somehow came to fruition in this beautiful, beautiful way. No one would ever know or ever really suspect that no one was in the room together at all, ever.
And so when you say in the room, I mean, it literally was like a little tiny basement room. Right. It wasn't like we were on a sound stage or something. Yeah.
And Carolee, what was the prep like? Did you all get on a Zoom and meet each other to go through the script? Was it just kind of show up and do your part, or did you guys have that prep time beforehand?
I think we had a few Zoom rehearsals, if you want to call it that, where we just read through the scenes. I think that was the only time Betsy and I ever said the words to each other. And once we were in the room, we didn't have the benefit, of course, of looking at the other actor, but we didn't even have the benefit of hearing the other actor's read on the lines. So you really were just imagining a scene in your head that never really happened and sort of projecting what you think that other actor would be doing in that moment so that you could react to it. It was a very bizarre experience, but it's the closest I'll ever get to filming an action movie. So I was willing to go for it. I never
And
did
you,
green screen.
and you play Mrs. Havisham, which I love. And with Lauren, your role, you're also part of the Dickens family, because the thing that I love that was so surprising to me watching the film for the first time is it's not just A Christmas Carol. It's bringing in all of the Dickens characters into the book, which I think is kind of genius. And Lauren, I think your character is a little bit surprising when you learn that it's really the Artful Dodger from Oliver. So can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, I think that's part of what's very fun is if you're someone who loves Dickens or has even just read a few Dickens books, there's just all of these little Easter eggs dropped throughout the whole story. It'll give you a lot of little smiles throughout if you know the Dickens sort of world well. And I think that that's one of the fun twists, is that my character turns out to be based on the Artful Dodger towards the end. But in the world of Estella Scrooge, I get to be this sort of punk rock, very sarcastic chambermaid at this down and out hotel, which meant just saying a lot of sarcastic lines to stickers on a green screen, which was great.
And you get to rock out to a very cool song. So your character is very fun to watch.
Yes.
And I will say, you know, with the pandemic that we're still unfortunately going through, we've all been through Zoom musicals and watched so much digital theater. But when you watch this, just how everything comes together and the digital aspects to this film are so cool. It's like Mrs. Havisham flying in, or Danny, your character, flying in through the window. I mean, the way they did the technical elements to this are very rad, I will say.
Yeah, I think like something that to remember about this piece, and for me being part of it, is that, you know, we did it in, I think, August of 2020, if I remember. I mean, this was when we really did not know how to do anything still. I mean, this was, I think, the first thing I worked on after the Broadway shutdown. And so as Danny kind of said, the miracle of it, of actually just pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps and doing this thing that none of us really knew how to do. We'd never done anything even close to this before, and to just sort of collectively take a leap of faith and trust that it would turn out and we get to tell this fun story. It's an experience that you'll never forget, because it is so tied to me of that period of time in the pandemic when we were all just taking it a day at a time and had no idea what we were doing. You know, no one was vaccinated yet. We still barely knew how COVID worked. I mean, it was just really a very intense time. And to do it safely, and to be able to tell a story that is just like warm-hearted and about the holidays and about family and care and love. It was just very beautiful to put it together.
And I think one of the cool things that's also come out of it is the show is now available for licensing through Music Theater International. So community theaters and regional theaters and school groups are going to be able to do a Stella Scrooge down the road. So Danny, when you see a school next year do a Stella Scrooge, what's that going to mean to you as an actor?
Well, I'm going to go. Definitely. I love attending shows that I've been a part of. I've done that several times with Drowsy Chaperone and South Pacific. It warms your heart. It really does. And to know that we were a part of creating this piece, and seeing young people do it and get joy from it is maybe one of the most meaningful things that we do. We pass it on.
And I think, Betsy, it's so nice to have a modern take on A Christmas Story, also with very modern and fresh music. So to pass that along to the next generation of performers, again, what does that mean to you as a performer?
I mean, I was excited about the way that the script was updated. And again, like Lauren said, these little Easter eggs. And so if someone's unfamiliar with the Dickens catalog, you know, as a student, like they're just like, oh, wait, what is this? It could maybe send them off in a different direction. And I actually had a daughter during this pandemic in May. So I think she was 4 months old. when we were filming it. So unlike Danny Burstein, where he's such a pro and he gets to go and do it in one day, I filmed this over probably, I think, 14 days. I think it was 14 full days of shooting, except for it was in the morning because I didn't want to be away from her for so long. So I said, I'll only do half days. So I woke up at 3 a.m. when she was still sleeping and filmed most of it while she was still sleeping, which was kind of awesome and this gift. And I think just to be able to take a story, which is historically known as having a male lead and getting to kind of update it and put this twist on it. It's not only it was cool for me, but someday I will be able to tell, my daughter I was working and in this crazy time, none of us knew what we were doing, but that idea of just sometimes you just have to do something and you never know what's going to come out of it. And this magical thing did come from this, and we're all here today. And the one thing that I wanted to add that I thought was interesting is Lauren was talking, and I don't know if I would have said yes if I hadn't known such amazing people were on board. Like the idea that I know Carolee, I know Danny, I had seen Lauren work, and I felt like even if I wasn't in the room with them, I would at least understand where they were coming from. That to me, like, provided a sense of just like comfortability, knowing that I was going to be also with like incredible people that were going to like care and take such care. So
Dan and I are always going to make very subtle choices. So you could count on that.
Always.
Well,
For the record, in case anybody saw somebody crawl by in the background, I just got out doing some ADR for a TV show, and I ran because it's only a few blocks from my buddy George Dvorsky's house, and that's where I am right now. So George didn't want to interrupt, and so he literally crawled underneath.
I didn't see it. Hi, George.
The back of him.
What is Broadway star George Dvorsky up to now? He's crawling behind. Oh my God.
This is the best interview ever.
Come here. Say hello.
Hi, Carolee. Hi, Betsy.
George. Yay!
Love you.
It's awesome.
I love it.
Carolee, I'm going to have you have the last word. What do you hope
God.
people get out of watching Estella Scrooge this holiday season, as we're still in the pandemic, unfortunately, but hopefully seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully?
Oh gosh. I mean, what I really think that this story hopefully communicates is that we all need to open our hearts. I mean, it's such a rough time right now for so many people because of all the reasons that you just said, and political divides and economic crises and, worldwide viruses spreading around, that there's just such a beautiful message in this show about, opening your heart and being available to the people around you. So hopefully they get a little bit of that.
And I think they will. It's such a great show, and I'm so happy that it's coming back. It is on streamingmusicals.com. I'm happy to announce that if you are an iHeart listener, you can give the code iHeart25 for 25% discount for the rest of the streaming time through January. So go to streamingmusicals.com, BroadwayOnDemand.com, and also the cast album is now available on Broadway Records. Carolee, Betsy, Lauren, Danny, thank you so much for joining me, even with all the technical difficulties. The movie is so much fun, so congratulations on having it be back for an encore airing.
Thanks for having us.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.